Hi. Today we're going to be reviewing the book Divergent by Veronica Roth. It's the first in a trilogy. The second book is Insurgent, and the third book, Legion, is going to be coming out this October. If you loved Hunger Games and you're looking for something similar, Divergent might be a good option. The dystopian theme with a strong but sometimes flawed female heroine is like Katniss in Hunger Games. Triss is a feisty, strong female figure. Though both books are dystopias, the story in Divergent begins with the people being relatively unaware of the dystopic reality that lurks behind their seemingly utopic society. As the book begins, there's no apparent discomfort within the system. The system that had been devised by their forebears was designed to mitigate the disagreements that arise when living in a diverse and pluralistic society. Because different people have different aptitudes and attitudes, they have different approaches to social organization and social behavior. At some point, a decision was made to segregate people according to their proclivities, so that one only lives in agreement with those of similar inclinations. These communities are divided into 5 factions. Abnegation, who are the selfless ones, serving their fellow man, and especially considerate of the needs and feelings of others. They are considered to be corruptless, and as a result, they're the ones that are in charge of the government. The erudite faction values knowledge above all, and they're devoted to learning. They invent and create new technology and medicine, and they solve other problems that arise in a society that require research and development. Amity are the peace-loving ones, and they live close to the earth. They avoid conflict, and they get along with high accord. They work hard in largely agricultural pursuits. Candor are the truth tellers. They seek truth, and they're brutally honest. They can also discern when truth is being withheld. And finally, the dauntless. They're the fearless fighters who are charged with protection. They're also pretty tough. In this story, the protagonist, Beatrice Pryor, lives with her mother and father and older brother Caleb in the abnegation faction, which is very conservative. They encourage their members to be self-effacing. Each faction dresses in a color that both identifies and represents them. Abnegation is gray, and clothing must be loose-fitting. Amity wears red and yellow. Dauntless wears form-fitting black, and a member of Dauntless is likely to have multiple tattoos. Candor's uniform is black and white, representing the idea that truth is black and white. Erudite wears at least one article of blue clothing in the belief that blue is calming and a calm mind is a clear mind. Now in the story, during your 16th year, you're administered an aptitude test to determine where you would best fit in terms of factions. They then have a choosing ceremony in which you announce which faction you have chosen. Most people go with the one that they were raised in, or the one that they show the best aptitude for according to the test. Occasionally, someone will choose a faction outside of those. However, it's risky to do so, because whichever faction you choose, you must then pass an initiation test in order to be invited to join. If you fail or drop out of the initiation test, you will be sent to live among the factionless, which many consider to be a fate worse than death. During her aptitude test, which is a virtual simulation, Beatrice is found to have more than one aptitude. This is a very rare occurrence. And even more unusual, she shows an aptitude for more than 2. Her tester helps to hide this information because it makes Beatrice a target. If you have multiple inclinations, they feel you will never be completely loyal to one faction or completely satisfied by the one faction. You are considered divergent. Many divergent end up factionless. Triss and her brother, who are not quite a year apart in age, have the same choosing day. It's a shocker to the family when her brother Caleb chooses erudite. Her parents, however, lose both children in the same day when Beatrice chooses dauntless, which is quite contrary to how she was raised. The initiation into dauntless is fierce, and not everyone makes it. Her time there is marked by exposure to violence and personal violations. She also chooses at that time to go by the name of Triss with the Dauntless. one of the Dauntless trainers, named 4, as in the number 4, develops an interest in her. Throughout the book, they struggle with issues of trusting one another with information and secrets that each hold and fear revealing. 4 is widely admired for his courage and toughness. That doesn't make him popular. Shortly after Tris passes her initiation, a simmering disturbance in the government begins to develop, and one of the factions attacks another, sparking a war that then sends their entire society into turmoil as tough choices and unlikely alliances are made. In the midst of the fighting, Tris's identity as a Divergent is discovered, and she predictably becomes a target. She's captured by a faction that attempts to assassinate her using her greatest fear, which was revealed when she was under a testing simulation. The assassination attempt is thwarted by a very unlikely person, so that's a huge surprise and I think worth reading the book for. The book sets you up to read the next book, Insurgent, which I couldn't wait to read, and I can tell you that as good as Divergent is, Insurgent is twice as good as Divergent. I can't wait for the next book to come out, for Legion to arrive in October. So I highly recommend these books, and I think you'll enjoy them too.